Across Western Europe, a silent shift is taking over the younger demographic, as millions embrace a form of financial nihilism they call the soft life. They are refusing to participate in an economic game they believe is inherently rigged against them. However, if you look past the noise and study the hidden architecture of economic survival, you will discover a master key. Watching this analysis to its final second will hand you the definitive blueprint to build an impenetrable fortress of wealth, allowing you to master the global chessboard while others scramble for scraps. We constantly dissect the real estate empires of older generations and criticize the modern obsession with digital side hustles. Yet, a silent minority remains completely ignored, operating the most calculated financial strategy in modern history. Born between 1965 and 1980, Generation X quietly commands the infrastructure of wealth, while living in perpetual readiness for economic disaster. They are the individuals holding $50,000 in cash, while driving a 15-year-old vehicle without a single regret. To understand their calculated coldness toward money, we must examine a profound betrayal that occurred decades ago. In 1983, the financial world operated on a simple, predictable contract. A citizen dedicated decades to a single corporation, received a guaranteed pension, and watched their savings grow through reliable interest rates. The blueprint was clear: work hard, protect the institution, and the institution will protect your future. That illusion dissolved completely in 2008. A middle-aged workforce watched decades of accumulated retirement funds vanish in a matter of weeks, as real estate values cratered and corporate loyalty evaporated. The system they trusted turned out to be a mathematical mirage. This systemic betrayal did not break them, but it permanently rewired their psychological relationship with capital. Recent analytical data from 2023 reveals a striking paradox within this group. 70% express extreme anxiety regarding their financial future, yet they maintain the highest contribution rates to retirement accounts. Psychologists define this behavior as defensive pessimism, a state where you systematically plan for total failure to ensure your survival. They do not trust the vehicle, but they fund it obsessively because they refuse to be left defenseless. Long before modern youth popularized the concept of secondary income streams, this group invented the mechanism out of sheer necessity. Federal Reserve records indicate they hold the highest rates of secondary employment and independent business ownership. However, unlike younger generations, they rarely quit their primary corporate roles. They are not chasing a dream, but rather building structure. This caution stems from memories of 1995, when massive corporate downsizing forced thousands of loyal professionals into sudden unemployment. That specific era proved that relying on a single source of income is a form of financial suicide. Their secondary ventures are not driven by entrepreneurial ambition, but by a cold, calculated strategy of self-insurance. They understand that in a volatile market, dependency is weakness. Their consumer behavior presents another fascinating study in calculated control. Studies show they are 34% more likely to remain loyal to specific brands from their youth compared to younger cohorts. They will abandon a major corporation without hesitation, yet they will consistently support a local business where trust is absolute. They have zero faith in large institutions, redirecting their loyalty strictly toward predictable products and human connections. This behavior is a logical response to systemic betrayal. Large corporations offer nothing but form letters and severed contracts when a crisis hits, while a trusted product remains consistent. They continue to buy the same brands and listen to the same music because those entities never lied to them. It is a calculated preference for certainty in an uncertain world. Their approach to expenditure reveals an even deeper layer of strategy. They allocate over $3,000 annually to live events, travel, and historical experiences, outspending every other demographic. This presents a fascinating duality of deep financial paranoia and experiential extravagance. Both behaviors, however, originate from the exact same psychological foundation. They accumulate cash because systems are fragile, and they spend on experiences because physical assets can easily diminish in value. Real estate can collapse, currencies can devalue, and physical possessions can be seized during an economic downturn. A profound memory, however, cannot be repossessed by a banking institution. They realized before anyone else that experiences yield the highest return on investment in a broken economy. Their interaction with the financial advisory industry further illustrates this desire for absolute control. Industry data shows they are the least likely demographic to employ traditional financial advisors. They experience high levels of anxiety regarding their wealth, yet they choose to manage their portfolios independently. They refuse to delegate their survival to self-proclaimed experts. As the last generation raised on physical literature and independent research, they view self-education as their primary weapon. They analyze market trends, construct detailed spreadsheets, and verify every piece of data twice. They witnessed what occurred when their parents trusted institutional experts with their life work. Their independence is not born of arrogance, but of a calculated doctrine of self-defense. Their relationship with liability is equally sophisticated. While holding significant mortgage balances, they fiercely reject high-interest consumer credit card debt. The distinction lies entirely in predictability and control. A fixed mortgage is a structured asset that can be mapped to completion, whereas consumer debt is financial quicksand. They only leverage debt when the outcome is entirely within their calculation. Their insistence on maintaining physical redundancy is a final testament to their survivalist mindset. Over 60% maintain physical paper files of critical financial documents, a rate nearly double that of younger generations. They are the architects who built the early internet, meaning they understand its inherent vulnerabilities better than anyone. They utilize digital platforms for convenience, but rely on physical paper for ultimate security. Ultimately, this unique money psychology is not a collection of contradictions, but a masterclass in economic adaptation. They are financial survivalists operating within a system designed to exploit the careless. They trust nothing, prepare for everything, and play the game with cold precision. They understand the rules can be altered at any moment, and they ensure they are always positioned to win.